I think, and we floated this a few days ago, I think Donald and Melania are dead ass broke. Why don't y'all take a look at this clip from Morning Joe. Kylie?
Everyone, this is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoins. We are announcing the launch of Trump Coins, a true symbol of American greatness. Trump coins are designed by me and minted right here in the USA. I've seen a lot of coins out there using my very beautiful face. I'm a very beautiful guy. I'm only kidding. But they are not the official coin. RealTrumpCoins.com is the only place to get an official Trump coin. I'm here to introduce something really special. I think you're going to love it. My new Trump watches. We're doing quite a number with watches, and the quality to me is very important. The Trump Victory Tourbillon. This isn't just any watch. It's one of the best watches made. Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
That to me, I just cannot imagine. I get the cult, the people that are just nuts wanting to buy these photoshopped, homoerotic, complete lying, fake cards of Trump. I get the cult. But here's my problem is you have what would be considered polite society that know better.
Yeah.
That make room for this type of stuff. Could you imagine a world where Barack Obama or Kamala Harris were grifting these things after they had already told the world they're so rich, they're billionaires, they don't need money. And they started grifting this stuff and then said, my beautiful face. There's even some with me dancing. Could you imagine? Barack Obama wore a tan suit and it was a right-wing meltdown of epic proportions.
There are so many things about this that I cannot wrap my head around. Number one, I completely agree with you. Trump is dead ass broke. He knows the election's coming up. If he loses, there is no money. It is grift city. Another thing, there's a couple things I want to point out. Number one, he sits around and says, people can't buy bacon. People can't buy bread. It's so expensive. Yet he pulls out a $100,000 watch. What are you talking about? So you're so worried about working people that you're going to put a $100,000 watch? And then just one little point I want to make. I did some deep diving. This watch, let's assume that it is actually as much gold as he says, which we all know it's not. If he says it's, mostly gold, there's like a 1% chance that it's got more than a little bit of gold. If you melted this watch down, it would be anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000.
That's not the most nefarious part of it. The most nefarious part of it is, number one, the watches don't exist. And number two, foreign people can buy them. And so he is setting up these grifts for himself to be easily influenced. So you could have some nefarious actor in some, country that has issues with, that is an adversarial position with the United States of America, could buy 10 of these things. That's $1 million. And there's always some grift and nefarious things behind it. Number one, I think he's broke. Number two, this is a pay-to-play setup. We said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think he's broke, and I think he is completely transactional, and he has zero loyalty to his followers or to the Constitution or to this country. And that's not hyperbole. There is a large body of evidence that confirms this. But let's just remember that all of these Republicans in Congress, at one point in 2015 and 2016, they had found Jesus on the issue of Donald Trump. They had moral clarity. All of that has gone by the wayside. But let's see what Lil Marco, as Donald Trump likes to call him, let's see what Marco Rubio said about him in 2016.
This is what we're going to have.
Here's the guy that inherited $200 million. If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan.
Selling watches in Manhattan. He would be selling watches in Manhattan. First of all, Lil Marco, he inherited over $400 million. With inflation today, would be over $1 billion. Filed bankruptcy 6 times. He's an abject failure of a businessman. And this brings me to my point. People, there's the nuts that are indoctrinated in the cult that vote for him that actually say on camera that they want an authoritarian form of government. But then you have these polite society Republicans that say, oh, we just think he's strong on the economy. Well, we know he's not strong on the economy. We know he's terrible with his own money, and we know that he wrecked the U.S. economy. Full stop. So what are they looking for? They're looking for a permission structure to vote for this guy. And you might remember in 1992, James Carville said, it's the economy, stupid. And I think what the thesis of this election is, as it pertains to Trump voters, is it's the racism, stupid. It is the racism. These people that say, oh, I just like him on the economy, yet they go attend church every Sunday and every Wednesday. It's the racism. It's the recreational cruelty. They use the economy to provide social cover to justify their racist default settings as white Americans.
You know, I absolutely agree. I don't think there's any other way to put it, because you look at the otherizing of migrants. You look at mass deportation, get them out. That's what his followers are chanting. You look at black jobs. These are things that the KKK would have worn hoods about and said in whispers. These people, Clay Higgins, for example, is saying them on Twitter full blast. I think another thing that you see everywhere is misogyny. They want agency over women. They want control over women. They want women not to have the ability to make decisions over their own body. And they want women to go back and be grandmothers after they're older. They don't want women in the workforce. They want women under the thumb of men. Patriarchy, racism, that is the core of this election. I could not agree more.
I always wondered when I studied World War II, I would always think, how did people go along with this? Mm-hmm. How did they go along with this hateful rhetoric towards Jewish people before they even knew about what was going on in the concentration camps? It took me until MAGA to understand fully how it happens and what you see being born in MAGA extremism. And they're talking about rounding up immigrants, both legal and illegal, and deporting them, mass deportations. They use the words bloody, and it is very reminiscent of Nazi Germany. And I see how it got its footing. You identify who you're going to hate. And we know, living in this red state, many, many, many people that you could sit down with and talk about World War II, and they would have moral clarity on it. But then they go and they run and vote for Donald Trump. And they say they're voting for Donald Trump for the economy. Well, it's not the economy, stupid. It's the racism. That is what they're voting for. They traffic in recreational cruelty, and he provides them that. They use the economy as a permission structure in social settings to justify their racism. And racism is still very much alive in the United States of America. And Donald Trump has resurrected it to a fever pitch. And whenever you hear white people, listener, say, oh, we're a post-racial America. We're not a racist country anymore. It is complete gaslighting. But I want to move on more to the character of Donald Trump and attaching it to this grift and the gaslighting and our thesis that we believe that Donald and Melania Trump are dead ass, and I mean dead ass broke. Because Melania, who we all know, we've seen the footage of her batting her husband's hand away, the faces she makes when he touches her. I mean, it's obvious she can't stand the guy. And it's certainly understandable. Of course. And I'm not defending her because I can't stand her either. But they're trotting her out a lot right now. She's got her own grifts, Christmas ornaments that, you know, she's had a couple rounds of necklaces. Now she's got her memoir and all this crazy shit. And now she's doing interviews on Fox. And if you want to hear one of the richest things in your life, and I know, listener, that this is nauseating to listen to, but we have to listen to this hypocrisy and these lies in order to call them out and draw a split screen as to what one side is offering and what the other side is offering. Here is the wife of Donald Trump on Fox News this week.
Mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because that cannot continue.
How do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
That he is really a family man. He loves his family. He loves this country. And all he wants to build better and prosperous.
Yeah, he's just strong.
I have heard enough. First and foremost, a toxic environment. Your husband just referred to Stephanie Ruhle as a bimbo.
Right.
So sit down and shut the fuck up, Melania. Seriously, your entire speech that you gave one day was a complete plagiarized speech of Michelle Obama's, because she's a million times smarter, has critical thinking, thinks for herself, and is a successful person in her own right before she ever met and married Barack Obama. And then your platform when you're in the White House is hashtag be best, that you want to stamp out online bullying. This may work with the Fox News crowd, the people that are looking for cover so that they can be pieces of shit day in and day out. But there is a large body of blue cities that really are the body and soul of the American economy. And we live around all types of people, women, immigrants, people that speak different languages, which is crazy that she's an immigrant and she can't stand up for immigrants, but that's neither here nor there. But the biggest lie that this woman tells, which is laughable, is that Donald Trump is a family man. The man that trots around screwing Playboy bunnies. I believe it was while Melania was at home taking care of Barron that he's screwing a porn star. And here's the deal. I'm not a religious hypocrite. I don't really give a shit about that stuff. It's not that shocking to me, but I'm not the one that gets my Bible out and thumps it all over the United States and claims to have the moral high ground like these two people do. And then for her, there was also in this interview, she talks about being a working mother. Give me a break. Your kids were raised by nannies and have never flown a commercial flight in their life. It's unbelievable how this is for all of these people that claim that they know the answers to the universe, how it began, what's supposed to happen now, and how it ends. This is their example. They're imperfect vessels. Donald and Melania Trump, grifters extraordinaire with their $100,000 watches. I think you might remember that triple ball sack necklace she had. Yeah. I mean, these people are disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. And I have decided, after I put this episode together, that this is just a deal breaker for me. If you support that, and you're able to justify the hateful rhetoric, which is exactly, it's a complete equivalency to the beginnings of Nazism, and you support rounding up human beings and deporting them, I really genuinely, these are different moral issues for me than tax policies and infrastructure spending. These are deal breakers for me. And Hillary Clinton recently said, and I'm so proud of her, deplorable was too kind of a word. And we've been saying that right here on this very podcast for months. Hillary Clinton didn't go far enough. And she said it just this week. To be frank, when it comes to racists and anti-American haters, deplorable is way too kind of a word.
No, I completely agree. And the Melania Trump, the audacity, the lack of self-awareness. And I just want to remind you, covered everything that I want to say, but I will tell you this. This is a reminder. This is a person that doesn't even campaign for her husband for free. She gets just under $250,000 to go speak on his behalf. Are you fucking kidding me?
Listen, they're broke. It's all going to come out. They are dead ass broke. He has hundreds of millions of dollars of judgments against him in court. He flies around his tacky ass plane and he has all of his tacky ass real estate. They're spending money like crazy and he is dead ass broke because there's one thing we know Trump is good at. It's getting bankrupt.
That's right. He's great at it.
Yep. So, all right, listen, that's your hot tea leading into this weekend. Make sure you subscribe to all of our podcasts on whatever platform you listen to and on YouTube, and we will see you guys soon. It's so